Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Monday Marathon. I think this is episode 43 where we go through a pile of e-waste or electrical stuff that the local charity shop don't want. I like to try and save as much as I can. I pick it up every Monday. They always have a bit of a pile for me, sometimes lots, sometimes not quite so much. We have a reasonable amount this week. There's a few toasters, so I don't know what's to go with that. And as usual, some lamps, hair dryers. Yeah, let's get into it and see what we can save. So as usual, the plan is to go through all this stuff that would have gone out to the transfer station as e-waste had I not put my hand up and said, I'll take it all. So I do get it all each week for nothing. And I try and keep as much of it as I can in circulation. This is an NBN modem. It's an older one. I don't know how old it is. But I don't have much luck at all trying to resell these, so we'll just scrap that. They've got a reasonable board in there, so we get a few dollars back on that. There's a lamp here. We always get lots of lamps, and it looks like the shade, that's only the wire frame of the shade, so the shade's been, who knows, it's gone. This is a fairly modern lamp with these big wide fittings on, and quite often I'm actually looking for this collar because they turn up without shades sometimes and people must misplace the collar. Oh, how long's the thread? There we go. So they're quite a coarse thread. It's a much wider collar than normal, so I keep those anyway, but we might be able to put another shade on this lamp. It looks okay. This part can just go in our scrap metal bin. I don't think it's a touch lamp. Maybe it is. Mirabella, made in China. Fairly modern. Batch code 2313. I would presume it's made in 2013. So I may have a shade to suit that. It does not have a switch, so there's a fair chance it's actually a touch lamp. So we'll test that and see if it works. We might as well do that straight away. It takes an Edison screw globe. And I have we can't use these. Oh, I think these do work. We can't use an LED globe in a touch lamp. They really need to be incandescent globes. I'm not sure if the compact fluorescent one will work. I'll plug it into the appliance tester and let's see what happens. So the cord was okay. I can't see any other faults with the lamp. Let's turn it on. A quick flash. Ah, okay, the touch does work. Just on and off. So that's okay. Happy with that. It sits a bit crooked in there. Is it not screwed in properly? I think it's okay. All right. So there we go. We have a working lamp, just needs a shade. I'll have a look at the shop. I usually buy spare shades. Let's turn that off. I usually buy spare shades when I see them at the op shop. So we will certainly get a shade for that at some stage. And whether we get $5 or $10 for the lamp itself depends on what sort of shade I get, I guess. But we should be able to sell that one. While we're going with lamps, let's pull this one out. It's probably another touch lamp. There's no switch on it. And that has a globe in it. The shade looks a little bit crooked. I think the frame's just bent a bit. That's fine. Easy to fix that. So that's quite a modern and neat looking little lamp. Stainless steel base. Very tangly cord. Hang on, I'll just untangle that. I'll be back in a second. Okay, that's untangled it, but now it's all curly and it's going to take a bit to straighten out. Can I suggest that you don't wrap the cords around the stem of your lamp? If you're transporting them and you're worried about tripping over the cord, just grab an old toilet roll and fold the cord back on itself a few times. And then we can just slip the toilet roll over there. Much better than wrapping it around the base, and it's better for the cord. So there we go. That's my little tip for the week. Let's plug it in. I think I've still left myself enough length of cord here. Now, it's probably not going to work if it's got an LED globe in it and it is a touch lamp. All right, power's on. It does come on, but then it goes funny and flickers. I don't know if that's showing through the camera. So it comes on, then it's doing a weird strobe. So I'm going to replace that globe. Oh, it's actually partly on. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, look at that. It's flashing. So we'll take that one out. It's a small bayonet fitting. I should have an incandescent globe like that. Here we go. This candle-shaped one should do. And now we can use the touch, and we have low, medium, high, working perfectly. So perhaps someone threw it out, or, I mean, people donate things to the charity shop that are broken. Perhaps someone got rid of it because they thought it was faulty. In fact, they just used the wrong globe in it. So I'll keep that one. That will be handy for another lamp that's not a touch lamp. Okay, that works great. No issues there. The cord's now nicely wrapped up. Really just needs a little bit of a quick wipe over. We should get $10 for that. Now, what have we got in here? This looks like the frame from an old 80s style touch lamp. But unless it must be in another box. All right, we'll get to that soon. There's a hairdryer. Is that a hairdryer? Or is it a vacuum? It looks like it's a rechargeable. It has a USB-C socket there. I think that's a mini vacuum. All right, I might put that on the charger. There's nothing happening at the moment, and see if it charges up. I'll get back to that one later. There's some cords in here, RCA cords, possibly from a stereo. I don't think we got that though. Oh, there's some remotes in here. A Samsung remote from a TV. Very dirty one, but that's okay. I'm always looking for remotes for old TVs. Oh, corroded batteries, my pet hate. Hopefully they haven't damaged too much in there. And this other older remote is another Samsung. I think that's from a DVD player. Oh, it might be a TV as well. What's the bet? There's bad batteries. Yes, corroded again. All right, I'll have to take those out and clean them out. There's going to be no value for those remotes as far as this episode goes, writing on the list, but I will keep them in case I turn up an old Samsung TV that needs a remote, and I'm always looking for remotes. But I'll take those batteries out. They can go in the recycling, and probably clean the terminals up with a little bit of vinegar. Hopefully they haven't rusted too much. There are some antenna wires here, which I do sell through the shop just at $1 each, but I obviously use some at times as well. And a little fitting here. Does that suit that little vacuum we had? It does. So what a cute little vacuum. Let's hope that powers up and works. Rightio, nothing else in this bag. I will take this bag to the shop, and we use these to give to customers for when they're buying a heap of stuff at the shop. I like to use recycled bags, and this LD bag is still in good enough condition to give away to someone. So I've just removed these very crusty old batteries from the remotes, and they're certainly corroded, but fortunately they didn't seem to hurt the springs. The screw in the middle is a bit rusty, but the springs I've just brushed them out with a toothbrush, and on both remotes they actually look quite good. So if I was to use these remotes for a job, I would clean them up perhaps with a bit of vinegar, but they look quite fine. They're not going to corrode anymore, and the fronts of these remotes are filthy dirty, so if I do use them, I'll pull them apart and clean them up. They, as I mentioned, they both suit Samsung TVs. I'm not sure what era, maybe back to around about 2000, because they do say, this one does say VCR on it, so that dates it. But I had a look online, and this particular model remote, there's quite a lot for sale, brand new, for almost $100. I didn't see any second-hand ones that had sold, but I saw a few for sale for around about $30, so they might be a bit hard to get. But as I mentioned earlier too, I'll be keeping them in case I need them for a TV. Seeing so I'm fast becoming a TV repairman, and they seem to be coming in here quicker every day. They're going in my bucket for battery recycling. Now the RCA cables here, I've got so many of these at the moment that all I'm going to do with these few is chop the plugs off, and they can go for scrap wire, so I'll get a bit of a return there. I've decided with all my cables, I've got a lot of USB cables and mains cables and all sorts of other weird and wonderful ones. I've decided I'm going to keep multiples of 10. So once I've got 10, let's say USB computer cables, or 10 sets of audio cables or AV cables or whatever you have, once I get to 10 in stock, then any further ones I get I'll just scrap, because I can't stockpile them forever. And that pile of, it'll go in my data cable box. At least I get a return on that. And I've still got plenty of the cables in shop in case someone needs them. These plugs I will put straight in my e-waste bucket, and the e-waste companies will be able to salvage some of the brass out of them. I'm not mucking around with plugs. So that's dealt with those. The remotes are right. I've got a couple of lamps to clean up. I'll probably do that, make some room, and we'll get back to the rest of this stuff. Okay, let's get back to this pile. We'll move that over there, and we've got toasters to deal with. There's 3 toasters this week. This one looks like a pretty good Sunbeam. It's the Cafe series, stainless steel, nice large toasting sections, so you can do muffins and crumpets and things. So it looks like a pretty good unit. It actually looks surprisingly clean. It's certainly been used, but unless someone's just given it a bit of a clean out before it came in, the crumb tray looks pretty good. But it's not overly dirty. There's a few crumbs down the bottom of the elements, but that looks quite good. It's a little marked on the outside, but it's certainly presentable enough to sell, and it would clean up a bit better. So here's hoping it tests out okay, because I think that's better than a $5 toaster. I'm sure these would have been pretty expensive new. Okay, let's plug it into the appliance tester. I'll just adjust the camera a bit. Pop the crumb tray back in there. And we'll apply some power. Now this is a class 1 item, so we do need to check for an earth. Pretty well the general rule is if you have a metal case or a substantial amount of metal on something, it's going to be a class 1 object that runs an earth. And that tests safe, so let's see if it works. Light comes on. It's heating up. Good. I think all the elements should be going. We'll give it a chance to warm up. Okay, I think they're all going. That looks pretty good. So excellent. It appears to be in good working condition. So we'll cancel that. All seems to work great. We'll leave that cool down and I'll give it a wipe over. I will check online, but I would expect we should be able to get at least $20 for this toaster. It looks like a pretty good unit. Okay, next we have a cheaper one. This is a Mistral, just a standard plastic toaster. This one, it looks pretty clean inside too, actually. Bit dirty on the outside, but that's fine. That's the easy part to clean. This would have been a budget toaster though. Oh, is this the receipt? It's a receipt for general shop at Woolworths, including cauliflower sauce, multigrain sandwich bread, yogurt. Interesting what people buy. And here's the 2-slice toaster, and it was $35. Now when was this? This was September last year, so just over 12 months old. It was $35. So that probably explains why it's fairly clean. It doesn't explain why it's super dirty on the outside, but it looks pretty good on the inside. There is one large piece of crust in there. How does the crumb tray come out? Oh, that's it. All right, how do we get this? There's a bit of crust. That's the parts that attract mice, and you get mice in your toaster. I have found cremated mice in toasters before. So that's not too bad. We'll clean it up outside. As long as it tests safe, we're good to go on that one. But it's only going to be $5, I think, to resell. All right, let's power it up. Now, even though it's got plastic on the outside, it probably will be a class 1 item. And we're getting a pass on the earth, so that's good. Tests fine. Let's see if it warms up. Whoops. And the elements burst into life. That's working fine. So we shall give that a bit of a clean up. I won't go to too much trouble at all, and we'll only ask $5 for that one. Anyway, we've got 2 toasters to keep out of e-waste. The box will go into the recycle bin for cardboard. The breadcrumbs can go into my compost bin. Okay, the last toaster is a Dongi, probably mid-range, I think, more of a cheaper one again. We don't have a receipt with this one. Made in China. Crumb tray is starting to come out. Now this one, it looks okay. It's had more use, this one. It is quite dirty inside, but it's not too bad that we can't sell it. Let's see if the thing powers up okay. And we'll make sure we've got an earth. And we do. And it's not working. Even if I hold the lever down, nothing's coming to life. We have no life on the panel here. It's definitely on and the cord's not damaged. We have no life at all. Something's gone haywire in there, and I'm not about to pull it apart because I think even going and cleaned up, I think that's probably only a $10 toaster. So I'm going to call that one Ewaste. It's too involved to get into these things and fix them up. I don't know what would be wrong with it, but the time for me to do that is not at this stage viable. It's not really viable at any time, but I've got too much on my plate at the moment to do marginal jobs. So that one is going to go to Ewaste. I will amputate the cord. So we get a little bit of value with the cord, and the toaster can be recycled in the e-waste stream. So we couldn't save that one. If my life depended on it, I'm sure I could save it, but it's a matter of practicalities sometimes. Okay, I'm going to clean up these toasters, make a bit of room. We still have over here hang on, I'll move the camera up. We have a hairdryer, assuming that's what's in the box. It looks like it was only $20 brand new. And in the other box over here, I think we actually have the rest of that vintage touch lamp. So we can deal with those. And there's a couple of items I purchased to flip this week. We'll get to those at the end of the video. Let's see if this is a hairdryer in here. It should be, but you never know when things are donated. It is a hairdryer. Is it the same one? I think it's the same. A Remington. No, it's a Philips. There we go. Strange things never cease to happen. Quite often people upgrade and they'll put the old one back in the box, even though it's not even the same brand. But this one looks all right. So maybe it wasn't an upgrade. Looks all right on first impressions. Hopefully it runs okay. So the box is going to be cardboard recycling. What's in here? The warranty or the instructions for the Remington, but they can just be all recycled. So this one looks like quite a nice unit. Let's plug it in and see if it works. It doesn't seem to have any damage. Okay, we have low speed and heat. That's working. Oh, that's very hot. Half heat, just a cool fan. And that seems to test out okay on the appliance tester. That's a very hot hairdryer. Alright, so that works alright. Looks pretty clean. Filter's not blocked. Philips Salon Dry Active Ion. Whatever that means. I think we can probably go $10 on that. Doesn't even really need a clean. I'll give it a quick wipe over, but that one's good to go. Okay, we have this touch lamp. And I have the floor lamp back there too. I'd forgotten about that. And I've been charging, oh, let's get back to this. I charged up the little vacuum here. Sounds like an angry mosquito, but it seems to work fine. There's a filter in there and a little one-way flap that's kind of stuck. I think I'll clean the filter. But little buzz box, but that seems to work fine. I think the filter just needs a bit of a blowout. Nothing damaged. And I think I'll hang on to this in the shed. It's not going to be worth much. I would just try and get $5 for it. If I did try and sell it, well, won't that? Oh, that's actually got a bit of a crack in it. Still, I think that's going to be okay. But I feel that this will be good for cleaning up. Sometimes I pull apart a PC or something and it's full of dust, and I can blow it out with compressed air, but also with a brush and the little vacuum, I think this will be really handy for cleaning up things that I'm repairing, just to get rid of all the fluff and everything. So I'll hang on to this. If I ever decide to quit it, I'm only going to ask $5. It charges from USB, and it seems to have charged up well. It's only got one speed, flat out or nothing. 2 speeds, flat out or stop. Okay, I'll clean the filter out. I'll hang on to this. No return on that one, but a handy little gadget for the workshop. And we still have to scrap out this modem. We'll do that at the end too. All right, let's see what we've got in here. This looks to be, oh, there's something else in here. What's this? Is that a phone mount? A car phone mount? It's got the suction cup for your windscreen, I think. Oh yeah, that seems to work. Looks like it will suction okay. Swivel end, this end, what's it say here? Sprout magnetic car mount. Magnetic? Is that a magnet? It is too. That's quite a strong magnet. So what's that for? Does that hold your phone? Will your phone stick to a magnet? I guess it could be handy in the car for all sorts of things as long as they're magnetic, but I don't think a phone will stick to it. Anyway, I don't think it's worth a great deal. I might just check out online to make sure they're not expensive to buy, but I would imagine they're only a cheap gimmick. I'll probably just put that in the $1 thing at the shop. Rightio, back to this lamp. This looks to be brand new, never used. Would that be right? Original box, never been assembled. What's in here? Oh, these would be the glass panels. So it's a brand new, never assembled, vintage touch lamp. Probably late 80s, I would think. I'm guessing from the code it might be 86. It has a barcode. They started using barcodes around about 1980 in Australia. I don't know that there's any other date code on it, but I usually assume these, or attribute these style touch lamps to the 1980s, perhaps early 90s, but this is a brand new one in a box, never been assembled. I sell these touch lamps secondhand. Oh, hang on, this might be more modern. No, it's got no sleeves on the pins, so it's got to be 90s perhaps at the newest. There's no date code at all. I sell these style of touch lamps for $20 in the shop, second hand. I'm thinking we might try $30 on this one. It might take a while to sell because someone obviously has to assemble it. Now I would think mid to late 80s would be the date. I'm going to not assemble it. I'm going to leave it all in the box, unassembled, original, never used, vintage touch lamp, and we're going to try $30 on that. And I don't know how we're going to go, but it's worth a try. Now next is a floor lamp, and you're only looking at the base. It's almost touching the roof, and it's loose on the bottom, but I think that's going to tighten up, beauty, and nothing damaged there. So it looks in perfect condition, this one, other than it was being a bit loose, but that's all tightened up. I'll lower it down so that you can see what sort of lamps it has. And it's a twin lamp model, fully adjustable, and they take an incandescent globe. Can you even see the top one? I'll have to adjust the camera. There we go, you can see the top one now. So they're in very good condition. There's nothing broken. All the clips are on the cord. It has a switch, has 2 switches, one for each light. I'll plug it in and see if they work. But really there's nothing to do with this. It's all ready to go. It's even clean. All right, top one's working. Switch works. Now this bottom one, perfect. And it tests safe on the appliance tester. So good, we can put this straight in the shop I don't know, probably about $30 I think for a floor lamp like this with 2 adjustable lights. Very good. That's a nice quick job. I like jobs like that. Saves me a lot of time and I can make some money. So with everything tested, let's just get the board out of this modem, and I'll show you what sort of board we get out of these. They're not worth a lot, but at least I get something back rather than throwing the entire thing into e-waste. And I do save up all the mid-grade circuit boards and take them to Melbourne to e-waste bin. I haven't taken a load down for a long time, but I don't know, they're probably worth about $1.80 or $2 a kilo, and they do add up pretty quick when you're pulling things apart. I think that's all we need to take out of there. Did I miss a screw somewhere? I think I might have. Perhaps there's one under this foot. No. There's no screw in that hole though. I can use a bit of brute force, I guess. There is a screw under that hole. I don't know how you get to it though. Alright, and the boards quite often are just clipped in. Yep. Whoa, little plastic clips are brittle. So I've got 2 separate boards in this one. That first board is probably more of just a power board, so we really can't get away with sending that down to e-waste bin as a mid-grade board. The transformer and the coil I could probably get off just for the copper wire, but there's not much value on that one. That's unfortunate, because usually there's one big board on these. That one's got a large chip there. There's another one, or possibly another one, or there's one there. There's possibly another one under that shielding. Chip on the back as well, so that can go as mid-grade board, but it's very light, so this one's a bit disappointing. And there was a heat sink here which will be aluminium, so they can go with our scrap aluminium. So we got a little bit of value. Alright, so that will go to just to e-waste as well. I think we could have left that in there, and that will go with our mid-grade boards. Now to getting back to the items that I purchased to flip, we have a Pyrex baking dish and a biscuit tin. The biscuit tin is quite modern. It's probably only a few years old. It features a 1974 Holden, that was the HQ. That's a 4-door sedan, it's not the Monaro. Nice car though, that one looks like it's done up. I actually was in one of these 1974 model Holdens that flipped 2.5 times and ended up in a paddock one time in my younger days. Great car though, I wish I had one of those like that now. It's, as I said, it's a modern tin, but these things are quite collectible because they look really good in the shed, particularly if you happen to own one of these 1974 HQ Holdens. So that was $3. I think I'll probably get 10 for that. The other one was also $3, and again I think I'll get 10. This is a pie dish. It's made by Crown, which is Australian. I'll give you a close-up if we can see the trademark. Get the reflection right. And it says Crown Ovenware. And it was made by Australian, I think Crown Crystal Glassware started in the early 1900s, and they became AG, and they had a heap of names, including, or trade names, including the word Pyrex. This one just says Crown. 1970 to 1975, this one, and the milk glass is what I think they call it a pearl Pyrex with the colour on the outside. Very retro, quite a functional pie dish, and there you go, $3 into 10, should do easily. So let's go up onto the deck and have a look at all the electrical stuff we've saved and how much we can sell. And here's our e-waste presentation this week. We have the tall floor lamp. We have all this stuff on the table here, which should actually add up to a reasonable amount. We'll get to the notepad shortly. I did check out that magnetic car mount, and I think they sell new for around about $30, so that's certainly not going in the $1 box. I'll probably just put 5 on it, but I'd possibly get 10. 5 will do. We've got to find a shade for that lamp at the end there. But everything else there is ready to go. A bit of scrap wire, one little mid-grade board, some aluminium, a spare light globe for my collection because we had to put the compact fluorescent on that one. A couple of remotes for my stock. And down below we have some cardboard, a little bit of rubbish in one of those boxes there. Some e-waste at this end and some batteries, a little bit of shred and a couple of things to flip, the tin and the pie dish. a bag to give away to customers, and some antenna cords. So there we go. This week we have pretty much no rubbish, just a little bit of plastic, a little bit of e-waste, some stock for me, some scrap metal stock, and quite a bit of stuff to sell. And that brings us to the notepad this week, where we have a total of $115 potential return. The two better items being the vintage touch lamp and the floor lamp. Not sure how we'll go with that vintage touch lamp, but someone may absolutely love it. And we have a couple of things to flip, the little mini vacuum to keep. So not a bad week, not a lot of wastage, quite a bit to sell. Pretty good all round, really. Just flipping back now to last week's episode 42, we have sold the coffee pod machine, we've sold the milk frother, the USB light, that was the multicoloured one, and the battery charger. I had a message on Facebook straight away, so that one went quickly, which was good. What did we sell? I sold the 3 DVDs out of the non-electrical stuff. So I've got something put aside for someone too. I think the mini jaffle maker is put aside for someone. They haven't come in yet. So we've done pretty well out of that big haul. That was quite a large amount to go through last week because we missed the week before. But we're getting through it and we're making some sales. Part 41, there's not a lot left. I'll probably discount the rice cooker. I might put it right down to $10 to try and move that. The modem, it really needs someone that wants one. So it's not a matter of discounting that because someone's not going to buy it unless they need it. So I might put that into the shop rather than out on the specials table now, which pretty well is going to rule off that lot. Haven't sold the horse mug yet. I'll leave this one float for another week before we rule it off. And going back even further to part 40, we have a fair bit sold. We sold the banker's lamp for $80. That was a nice sale. The power meter was put aside for a guy for a couple of weeks, but he didn't show up, so that's back in stock. I think we'll drop that Homedics hand care tool down to 5. The smartwatch is in a cabinet inside, so that will probably take a while. And I've sold some antenna leads and power cords lately, so that figure really doesn't matter. Haven't sold much out of the bottom section though, but that's all right. That stuff can sit there for a while. So we won't quite rule that one off again either, but getting there. And all previous episodes are done and dusted. So yeah, it's going well. I love this series. I'm having a great time. I'll only not do a Monday marathon episode when either there's nothing at the charity shop or only a couple of items, and I'll push them to the week after. Or if I'm too busy doing other house deals, which I am this week, but I still wanted to squeeze this one in. So it won't be every week, but it'll be most weeks. And I think everyone enjoys seeing all the stuff saved. I know I certainly do. And I'm making some money out of it as well. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.